Pleasure to bring on my guest today. Duka is joining me from Bleed, Norwich. He is a YouTuber, podcaster, and he knows everything about Norwich City. Our opponents this weekend. Duka, a huge welcome to the Football Martin channel. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, very well, very well. Nervous about the weekend, but Norwich seem to have sort of got their act together under Philippe Clement. So football-wise, a lot happier.
Yeah, you've been a busy man as well. You've just moved house, you told me as well. So you've had plenty going on personally as well, haven't you?
Yeah, just moved house about 2 weeks ago. Any Bleed Norwich viewers that are watching this are used to a sort of a different backdrop, but no, this is the new one at the minute until I can get sort of a nice little backdrop going here.
Yeah, no, you'll get there, mate. It all takes time. At least you're all settled in for Christmas. Right, the Christmas build-up's well and truly underway. The festive football doesn't feel like it's far away neither. Saints come to Carrow Road the weekend. It's an early kickoff. I'm not a massive fan of these lunchtime kickoffs. I don't know about you, Tucker. How do you feel about these lunchtime kickoffs?
I hate them. I
Yeah,
despise
I
them.
do.
We had Watford away at the weekend, and it was a 12:30 kickoff, and it was horrible. The atmosphere in the pub was just dire. Everyone was still sort of recovering from the night before. It's yeah,
Yeah.
no, I can't stand the early kickoff.
Well, I think it's on Sky Sports Plus, so let's just hope that the Plus football coverage is a lot better than it was midweek. I was at St Mary's and didn't have to go through not being able to watch it properly, but I reckon there was a lot of issues with the Sky Sports Plus. So fingers crossed, it's better for the game at the weekend. Talking of the game the weekend, how are you feeling about this one? You said to me there's a few injuries when I joined you for your preview for your channel. How many do you have out first and foremost? How many players are missing?
I think we could fill the whole 11. At
Wow.
least
Okay.
with the injuries we've got at the minute. It's very worrying times. We had Josh Sargent, who's arguably our best player, and when he's on form, he's the championship's best striker. He's out with concussion. We yet to sort of receive real team news on it, but it is likely that he won't be available for Saturday and due to concussion protocols. We had Kenny McLean leave the field at half time. Our captain has been our club captain for a number of years now, sort of the main operator in midfield. He went off injured at half time, and we have no idea to the extent of that injury. So whether he's available, we don't know. Mattis Kviskoren, who we signed for about £7 million from Bromby in the summer, someone who we haven't really utilised too much under Philippe Clement, but and the sort of the later days of Liam Manning's tenure, he did start scoring goals and getting on the pitch a lot more, but he's out injured now as well. And the list goes on. There are so many more other players. I think we have maybe one or two match fit fullbacks available for the weekend. We only had one available at Sheffield United midweek. So it's, worrying times.
Yeah, no, I was looking. Kenny McLean's actually your highest rated player. I use the stats on SofaScore quite a lot, and I was looking, and he's the highest rated player with 7.16. That's his average rating. He's obviously having a good season. Harry Darling, is he fit for the weekend, defender?
Yeah, he should be. He had a suspension which meant that he can play midweek away at Sheffield United. But he's back available for the weekend. So yeah, should be seeing him start.
Another highly rated player when you look at SofaScore as well. Take me back to the summer and what happened over the summer. What was transfer business like? Who came in, who went out, and who shone since you've had the newer players have come into the squad?
Yeah, this is going to take me back a little bit because so much has happened with Norwich since the summer. I think at the start of the summer, a lot of Norwich fans were very happy with the business. On face value, all the players that we signed looked like they could be real championship quality players. But alas, some of them are not, and they're very, very poor. Obviously, Liam Manning took charge. He came in the summer. A lot of Norwich fans were very happy about that appointment, and rightfully so. The job he done at Bristol City was fantastic last season. Got them into the playoffs when they're expected to be around mid-table, so massively overachieved there. And then towards the end of the summer, things started to turn sour very quickly, selling Marcelino Nunez to Porto. Obviously, we lost Borja Sainz, not to Porto, to Ipswich. Borja Sainz left to Porto earlier in the window, but Marcelino Nunez obviously sold to Ipswich at the end of the window for a package rising to 10 million. Now, as football fans, you do not sell one of your key players to your rivals. It's very similar to you guys maybe selling Flynn Downs to Portsmouth or or an Adam Armstrong to Portsmouth. It just does not happen. It's something that is sort of an unwritten law in football where you can't cross that border. And we did, and our sporting director did, and our owners did, and they're massively held accountable. You know, our owner came on local radio about a month or two ago and said it's a massive own goal. You know, we shouldn't have done that. We should have let him rot with the under-23s. Our sporting director came out with different opinions, saying that, you know, it was the right decision and he'd make that decision again. So a lot of fans are still very disgruntled by the sporting director. Obviously, Liam Manning is now out of the club. Philip Clement's come in. I've sort of given all the players a fresh start for Philip Clement because no one was playing well under Manning. You know, all the signings that we made were very poor under Manning. But under Philip Clement, we're seeing a completely different side. A lot of energy, a lot of players sort of performing to standard now as well. And I think the one that's really stood out since Clement's come in is Pelle Matson, who we brought in the summer from Silkeborg for about £2 to £3 million. And he's been fantastic. He's absolutely everywhere. He's sort of similar play style to Kante. The ball comes in the middle of the park and so out of nowhere, Pelle Matson arrives, wins the ball back, gets the team driving forward. And Norwich have been crying out for a defensive midfielder like that. But I think at the minute, he's probably the key player to look out for Norwich.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see how he set out the weekend. I was just looking at the injury list. It's huge, isn't it? It's on Flash Score, all the players that are potentially going to miss the weekend's game. It's a huge list of players. Unbelievable stuff. Talk about Philip Clement. He comes with a really good reputation in the game. He's a well-respected manager. When he was appointed, were you, I bet as a Norwich fan base, what was the feeling? Were they happy? I'm guessing they were.
Yeah, massively happy. I think no Norwich fan could quite believe the sort of the standard of the manager he was, and the fact that we managed to pull him whilst being 23rd in the championship. It's incredible that, you know, the teams he's managed, you know, Club Bruges, Genk, Monaco in France, Rangers, all big clubs on the European stage, and he's come to 23rd in the championship, Norwich. And he's got such a good track record of hitting the ground running and turning teams around quickly. I think with 3 of the 4 clubs that I've just mentioned, he's come in during the season to change things around. And, you know, that track record is something that we need and what we look for in terms of recruiting for the new head coach. But Philip Clement's been fantastic since he's come in as well. The way he's galvanised the players and got them playing football, attacking football, we're scoring goals more frequently. And we just look more up for games. The energy's there. You know, I think the most interesting stat with Norwich is our first half performances tend to be really, really good. If the season was based on first half performances, right now we'd be 4th in the league. And it's a crazy stat considering we're 23rd. It just shows the drop off in second half performances. And it could be down to, you know, fitness levels, the way how Manning set up his team in second halves, and a whole host of things. But fitness levels, I think, was the more sort of noticeable one. And now, since Clement's come in, the team looks so much fitter, so much more up for games. And second halves, we still try to take control. Everything has changed for the better since he's come in.
Did you change the system as well? You play a back 4, don't you now?
Yeah, it's a back 4. It's a 4-2-3-1 now. Manning was sort of very much torn between a 4-4-2, a 4-2-3-1, or a 3 at the back, 5 at the back. Manning never knew his best formation. But no, Clement has really got that sort of ingrained. He likes to play with, when we're on the sort of defensive, he likes to play with sort of a 4-4-2, 2 strikers sort of pressing the centre backs, one that will obviously drop into that 10 position. But when we're on the offensive, it's very much a base 4-2-3-1 with 4 at the back, 2 sort of holding midfielders, one a bit more progressive than the other, a 10, 2 out-and-out wingers, and an out-and-out number 9.
Yeah, no, it's amazing what a new manager can do. Somebody with fresh ideas. We've seen it here. Well, after Will Steele sacked, we've had Eckert do really, really well, and he's just totally, even with the same group of players, it's quite incredible, isn't it? What somebody with a different vision and a way of messaging to the players and what they can do. It's quite powerful what a new manager can do. I guess you can't wait to get to January now just to do some business so he can bring players that he wants for his style of play. Because, you know, I read the articles around, is it Ben Napper, the sporting director? He's taken a huge amount of flack, hasn't he, at the football club? We should touch upon it, really. There was an online petition earlier on in November, wasn't there, where they wanted, a lot of Norwich City fans wanted him removed as the sporting director. That had 1,500 signatures when I read it. What's the feeling around him? Will he be leading the recruitment drive in January?
I believe so. I don't think the club has sort of any idea that they want to change him at the minute. They're not really showing that at the minute. But I think, he has to get this, he's got this appointment right with head coach, is what we've seen from the early days. He needs to get the recruitment right in January. If we do go down the season, I fear that is Ben Napper's ending call as well. I don't think he'll be here for the following season. Even if we stay up, I don't want to see him here for the following season. He's failed on multiple managerial appointments. Johannes Thorup came in after he sacked David Wagner after getting playoffs. We brought in Thorup. Thorup got us 13th in the league. It seemed like sort of a transition season. I hate the term transition season. You should still be striving for the playoffs if you're a side like Norwich, but it very much was with the players that we sold, and like Johnny Rowe, Gabby Sarah that summer. And, we brought in a load of young players. We finished 13th. It wasn't deemed good enough. It did seem sort of like it was a project, but nevertheless, Napper sacked Thorup. Fair enough. He underachieved. The goal was playoffs. We didn't get it. Brings in Liam Manning. Manning comes in with obviously high credentials, obviously finished the playoffs at Bristol City, overachieved there. And then you look where we are after 13, 15 games. We sack Liam Manning. We're in the relegation zone of the Championship. And we bring in Philip Clement now, who's obviously got us playing a lot better, but it's still very early days. But he hasn't got a managerial appointment right yet. Obviously, Philip Clement is early days. I'd like to say that he will be a success, and he does look very good. But so far, he hasn't got one right. The recruitment's been awful. I think maybe two players out of the 11 we signed in the summer look up to Championship standard, and that might be Harry Darling and Pelle Matson. Other than that, the rest look bang average or very, very poor. So Napper has a lot to answer for in that sense. Recruitment is on him. Appointing head coaches and managers is on him. What I do know is that the owners had a lot more influence in appointing Philip Clement, and I know that Philip Clement will have a lot of influence in the business that we do in January. So I'm hoping that it won't just be left to Napper's devices. And that Clement will have a much bigger say than what previous head coaches had.
Yeah, he went on to say there is money available in January to strengthen the squad as well. I think you've very much, from what I read, we're going down the road of trying to bring in foreign younger players with the potential to turn them into players and obviously make profit, a bit like what we do down at Southampton. Is that what the transfer policy's been at Norwich?
Yeah, in recent years, it's exactly what it's been. Brought in the likes of Antti Sienats, Oscar Schwartau a couple of seasons ago. Sienats is out of an ACL injury currently, but Schwartau's been getting a lot more minutes this season, and he's looked a lot better and acclimatized to the league very well. So it is, bringing in players and hopefully in a season or two, nurture them into good Championship players. But right now, I think for Norwich, that shouldn't be the transfer strategy that we should go down, considering the position that we're in. We need to be looking for ripe and ready Championship players in January, because if we want any chance of staying up, we need players who know the league, know how to stay in the league, and know how to win games in this league. And currently, there is very little of that in the Norwich City squad. Yeah,
what areas would Southampton look at the weekend and say that they could really exploit? An area that you're probably looking for a signing to come in. What's the weaknesses at this moment in time?
I'd say the fullback area. I wouldn't say that's due to sort of transfer issues. We do have actually very good fullbacks. Kellen Fisher, Jack Stacey's very good. Ben Crescenti at left back is very good. Lucia Mahovo is very good. Jeffrey Schlupp is half decent as well. But the issue is injuries. The only fit one at the minute that I know that is definitely going to be match fit for the weekend is Kellen Fisher. Jack Stacey's out of hamstring injuries. Lucy Mahovo's out of, I think, a hip injury. Jeffrey Schlupp's out of a hamstring injury. Crescenti is now coming back from a hamstring injury, but we're not sure to see if he starts. We've been playing Tony Springett at left back. I'm not sure that you've ever heard of him.
No.
He came through our youth academy. We loaned him out to Northampton, to Derby County. And before Watford away, he hadn't featured for Norwich since Norwich drew 2-2 to Ipswich in 2023. So that's the sort of the level of the trenches that Norwich are in now to sort of field a winger who is League One quality at best at left back. So yeah, I'd say the fullback areas are probably if you get the ball out wide, you can definitely expose Norwich in those areas.
Yeah, you talk about the position in the league table at the moment. It's not looking great, but with the manager you have and in the January window to come, you'd expect to get out of where you are right now, wouldn't you? As Norwich fans,
Yeah.
you wouldn't expect to be in the bottom three come the end of the season. Well, I certainly wouldn't. With the likes of Josh Sargent, if you keep hold of him, the likes of Darling, you've got a very good manager.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't expect Norwich to be relegated this season. I do think we brought in Clement maybe a month too late, but I still think there's enough time for him to turn it around. I think we are 4 or 5 points of safety now, but again, those points can be racked up if we start winning games, and we're looking like we can compete in this league and be competitive in games and pick up points. We proved that over the last sort of 4 games. Obviously, drew to Oxford, should have won there, beat QPR, and then we went to Watford, only lost 3-2. We had opportunities to win the game, to even get a point out of the game, didn't take them. But another day that we get 3 points at Vicarage Road, drew away to Sheffield United, should have won there. In a last minute 1-on-1 that Forster Namankwa had his effort saved brilliantly by Cooper, the Sheffield United goalkeeper. But based on those performances and how Norwich have played and the way that we are able to be competitive and pick up points, I don't expect Norwich to be in the relegation zone much longer than March, I'd say. I think we will get out of there and we'll have a run of games where we will win. We will pick up a lot of points. And I think the teams around us are worse than us. You look at Oxford, you look at Portsmouth, you look at Swansea even. Those are teams that I would say that are categorically worse than Norwich, even on paper with the players that we've got. So I think with players coming back from injury, the way how Clement set up the side, I think over the Christmas period, we can definitely get ourselves close to getting out of the relegation zone or out of the relegation zone.
It's such a tight league. And when you look at the bottom of the Championship table, I'm just looking at it now whilst we're speaking. And, look at Oxford, they've got 19 points. You've got 14. And before you know it, like you say, a run of form when you'll be more than fine. I think you will be fine. Portsmouth, I like to hear that they're struggling. They're right down in the mix at this moment in time. We play them in January. Looking forward to that fixture. Actually, the tickets went on sale today. Time of recording, I think it's probably sold out by now. Anyway, Saints fans very much looking forward to going down there. Back onto this weekend's game. You spoke about the injuries. Do you think Norwich can get a result this weekend against the Saints side that have been so rampant? It's a 3-game week. Obviously, that will take its toll on both sides. Saints should have more than enough with the players they've got at their disposal. Do you see a world where Norwich get a result at the weekend?
Yes, but I think it's more out of hope than expectation. I said the same midweek at Sheffield United. They're just beaten Stoke 4-0. And it's a Stoke side that are looking very good in the Championship.
Really
and do find themselves in the top 6. Well, not currently. They've lost 2 on the bounce now and they're out of it. But they are, they're a very well-drilled side. And Sheffield United beating 4-0 at the weekend. And I'm going to Bramall Lane with the injuries we've got. I'm thinking, we're not picking up any points here. But we get a point and we look really,
it's a great
really
result
good
as well, isn't it?
Yes, it's a really good point, and we could have won it at the end. And Norwich were really good credit for that point as well. So, I mean, based on that logic, I am going into the Southampton game, obviously thinking the same. You guys have been rampant in this league. I don't see us winning, but there is a little bit of me that knows that Philip Clement will make sure that his side is competitive enough to cause problems, create chances, be resilient in the midfield as well, win balls back and just battle and show the energy levels that we need to try and pick up points. So there is that level of me in there that does make me think, maybe we could get a little win or a draw at home to Southampton. But I know the fans will be on Clement's back as well. Yeah, they'll be supporting him all the way and the team. The fans have really bought into what he's brought to Norwich. So the atmosphere will be very good at Carrow Road and we'll be back in Norwich all the way. So I think maybe the atmosphere could help in that sense. But like I say, it's very much more hope out than expectation. Yeah. I do expect you guys to comfortably win at Carrow Road.
What's your score prediction for this one?
Again, out of hope more than expectation, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. That's what my heart says. My head says probably a 2-1, 3-1 Southampton win. But I'll stick with a 1-1 draw. Yeah,
very much looking forward to it. Tell me a bit more about what you do yourself with Bleed Norwich. How can we find out a bit more after the game at the weekend? Certainly because a lot of the opposition like to go and have a look at the opposition's views, thoughts. I always do it after games. We played Millwall a couple of weeks ago and I had a brilliant conversation like this with the Millwall creator. I went and watched their instant reaction video afterwards and their post-match shows. What do you guys do at the weekend after the game this weekend?
So you can find our sort of match reviews on TikTok. So there'll be out on our TikTok page, and we obviously always have podcasts coming out after games. Especially after a 3-day game week, we'll have a big podcast out where we will review the game. So you can find us on YouTube as well. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, X, all the major platforms.
Brilliant.
Will be on there.
Yeah, no, it's great to hear. I've really enjoyed the conversation today. It's been great to get the thoughts on Norwich. I want to wish you all the best for the rest of the season, other than the weekend against ourselves. I do think you'll be absolutely fine. It's a great football club, good fan base, and you'll be marching up the table in no time. Really appreciate the conversation today. Thank you very much indeed.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me on.